Have you ever wanted to try out a space combat game, something like Traveller, but you just can't be asked or don't have the time or the bandwidth to take on all of the rules? Today we're going to cover Quantum Starfarer, which is by Stella Gamma Publishing. I really like Stella Gamma. I've got a bunch of their games. I'm covering it for two reasons. One, I think it's a great game, and two, I have this. This is just gorgeous. I bought it ages ago. It's a really cool little setting, and it uses this as a way in. So I want to cover this in another setting. I'll speak about it briefly at the end. So I thought it'd be best to cover this game first. So let's jump in. This game's only 33 pages. So you can read this a few times, give your players copies, and be up and playing with practically no cost and really, really fast, which is cool. Let me jump in here. So, right, it's a very simple game, 2d6, meet or beat a target. It's kind of like taking Traveller or Cepheus Deluxe, which is their version of Traveller, which I adore and is amazing, and that's probably another video to cover. And just kind of like pares it down. So you have 7 skills. They are combat, knowledge, physical, social, space, stealth, and technical. You can build really interesting characters just with those few skills. You start with 5 points that you put across those skills. You can't put any of them more than 3. You then create your stamina and your lifeblood. Your stamina is 7 plus your physical skill, and your lifeblood is 14 plus your physical skill twice. What happens is in combat is you take damage to your stamina. And once your stamina is done, you then take a minor wound, which is -1 on all your rolls, and then you start taking damage to your lifeblood. Stamina just replaces like that. End of combat, you get all your stamina back, which gives you this buffer, which is really, really cool, and makes it a little bit less deadly. But the impact comes when you start losing lifeblood, because that takes a lot longer to recover. You also get to pick a trait, which is kind of like not a skill, but more like a talent type thing. Here are the traits. Really flexible. There's not many of them. It'd be really, really easy to create more of them. If you have a player who wants to do a particular thing, it says many traits just grant advantage with their throws. So instead of 2d6, you're rolling 3d6 and taking the 2 highest. So you could create these just to fit your game, your table. And there's some rules on psionics, which are kind of cool. Psionics is rare. You have to roll a 10 plus. If you don't roll, if you do less than that, your psionics are gone for that day. Personal combat, no initiative. Which again, the thing I love about this is you can just tweak this with a pen and pencil after reading it once or twice, and it's not going to break the game, which is great. So if you want initiative in your game, throw initiative in your game. Vehicle combat, this is really great. So this sums up this game really well. I think what they've done is they went, what is fun in Traveller? Okay, well, how can we make that simpler and still keep the essence of that fun? This vehicle combat is the same for both normal vehicles and space vehicles, and they have this mechanic called position. So for vehicle combats, you're rolling 1 dice, 1d6 to add in your technical and add in your agility. Both parties in combat are doing that. Whoever has the highest has position. Position means when you roll to attack, you're not rolling at a disadvantage, or you're not rolling with any penalties. If you have the bad position, your rolls are -3. It's a really great way to take the idea of combat from vehicles and 3-dimensional space and just make it cool that it's usable. And then you've got like an issue with scale with these games. So if you've got small arms and you're attacking a vehicle that has light armor, it's a simple table that deals with all of this. So imagine you had a small arms and you attacked a surface vehicle. Your attack hits, you can then roll for the damage. The damage might be nothing, or it might be, say, electronics, in which case the sensors are destroyed. So it adds real great variety for combat. Again, simplified. All the fun, none of the complication. Advancement, there could be better editing in the game. You find that with some of the Stella Gamma games. This is not a judgment call if you ever watch this. My games need better editing. It's a nightmare to get it done properly, and they're prolific in what they review. Doesn't bother me. This is referencing Barbaric, but the game is like super worth it. And Barbaric is a great little game as well. XP, you get 1 XP per adventure. 5 XP you get to increase your rank. Which is either a new trait or increasing your lifeblood or stamina, or add 1.20 skill. It says you cannot increase your stats more than 4 times. I'm not sure why that limit's there. I would probably change it ever so slightly that players could get more diverse, but it would be harder to upgrade skills, and you could really change and stretch out how you'd be running your campaigns. Hero points, really great mechanic. You have 2 hero points, which is essentially allows you to re-roll any single die throw, or get the referee to re-roll one of their dice, which is amazing. And also, if you do a check that's over 8, and you surpass the check, so the DC is over 8, and if you surpass that by more than 6, you then get a hero, like a pool that sits on the table that you can use, which again is brilliant. Starship design, again, they've taken a really complex thing and simplified it. You pick your tonnage of your ship. It gives you complete instructions on how to build ships. You add your armor, which is a percentage cost of how big your ship is. You have 3 drives, a maneuver drive, a jump drive, and a power plant. They're kind of interlinked. For combat, things like your maneuver drive has a G rating. It's really important, but you can't just have a really big maneuver drive without having a big power plant. So it again, complex made simple, which is brilliant, and it's the ideal thing if you want to give one of these games a go. I'm not going to go into massive detail about it. You also need accommodations for your ship, especially if you're going to have people on it, or if you're living on it, you're going to need accommodation for it. But again, in a couple of pages, it gives you exactly how to build out a complete ship, which is brilliant. And it also then gives you examples of stuff that you could just take and drop into your game anyway to save that. But sometimes players want to get their fingers dirty, hands dirty. Gives you some information on star travel. Breaks down space combat. Again, it's similar to the position, which I absolutely adore. And then it gives you information on sectors and how to build a sector map. Not hugely detailed either, but enough to build an entire campaign. Again, doing what its intent was. Lets you build technology levels of planets. Breaks down that instead of being pages and pages and having really complex numbers, it gives you something that you could just create and run. And uses world tags, which I really, really like, and makes it really simple to create the worlds. Again, you've got like a bunch of stuff that you can buy, and yeah, it's a great little game. I actually, believe it or not, between this and Barbaric and some of the stuff they release, and they also do versions that you can just edit yourselves, which is brilliant. Between them, I've actually got a 90% finished game on my shelves that I like the system that much. I made one, and I said I was going to talk briefly about this. I'm going to do another video on this. I saw the colours of this, and I just fell in love with it. I don't know why. It just reached out to me, and I saw the introduction. Now this is the setting, and for me, it's kind of like space that's been reimagined as they would have thought in like the late 1900s. There's men on the moon. There are Martians. There's that kind of stuff. So this is like an alternative future. It's not hard sci-fi, and it's just a great little setting, which I'm going to cover. And it says to use that system. I would happily run the hell out of this with that system and not take up a huge amount of brain space. I'm also probably going to cover Cepheus Deluxe in another one, which has got a lot more meat on the bones I really love. But yeah, great little system. Check out the stuff that Stella Gamma do. I'm probably going to cover some more of their stuff because I really like it. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. If you haven't subbed, please do. There's stuff like this coming out every week. I'll catch you later. Bye.